3, it says a pebble is projected vertically upwards with speed 10.5, okay, from a top of the cliff, okay, from point A on top of the cliff. Okay, so projected upwards, so we're going to have that there, speed there, u equals to 10.5 to show then that it is going upwards to start with, okay. Find, it says, the greatest height above A reached by the pebble. So let's see what we know here about this. Well, we know u is 10.5, okay. In terms of the acceleration, well, this is now moving under gravity, so we've got to use the value of 9.8. But if it's projected upwards to start with, we're going to take upwards then as positive, okay. Okay, you always take the initial direction as positive. So it's going upwards to start, that's what's positive. But we know, of course, acceleration always acts downwards, okay, due to gravity here. So the acceleration, because it opposes my positive direction, it's going the opposite way to positive, I'm going to put it as minus 9.8. Okay, and that's basically it, isn't it? We don't know anything else there. But they want the greatest height above A reached by the particle. Now what's true at greatest height, okay? At greatest height, V is equal to 0. Okay, so it's important to recognize that, because if it's going up, okay, at the greatest height it gets to, it stops, doesn't it? It's got to stop, because if it didn't stop, it'll keep rising. So it's got to stop at a certain point. So that means when it stops, the velocity is 0. So we can say that, right? Our greatest height V is 0. So then we're going to work out what the height reached is. So if I use V squared equals U squared plus 2AS, well, we know V is 0, so 0 squared. We know U is 10.5, so 10.5 squared, plus 2. A is minus 9.8, and then your S there. So it's just a case of working out these numbers. Okay, so we've got 0 here. That's 110.25. Okay, that'll be minus 19.6 S. And then to get S, of course, well, if I take that over, 19.6 S equals 110.25. So to get S, then it'd be 110.25 divided by 19.6. Okay. And that comes out to be 5.625 meters. That's the greatest height. Part B then, it says the pebble reached the bottom of the cliff 5 seconds after being projected. Calculate the height of the cliff. So basically it's going up and then it's going down, and it gets here when t is 5. Okay, so we want the height of the cliff. In other words, we want this here. We want to know what this is here. Okay, so let's write down what we know. Well, we know u is 10.5. We know a is minus 9.8. Okay, we know t is 5, okay, when it hits the bottom of the cliff. We want S, don't we? That's what we want S. Okay, so S will give us the displacement. Alright, now we need to remember as well with S, our displacement is from here. Okay, so this is our starting point, isn't it? That's the start. In other words, S is equal to 0 here. Okay, displacement measures how far you are, or where you are in relation to the origin. Okay, so it's how far, but also where you are in terms of direction. Okay, so that's really important. So S is 0 there. And to get S with these figures here, when t is 5, I'm going to use S equals ut plus half at squared. So S will equal to u, which is 10.5, time is 5, acceleration is minus 9.8, and time then squared 5 seconds squared. So if I plug that into my calculator, I will get minus 70 out. Okay, and that's okay. We can have minus out, because remember, S measures displacement. Okay, so it's not only distance, it's the direction we're in as well. Now if S is 0 here, remember we took upwards as positive. So if this was an axis system, upwards would be positive displacement. But then when it ends up down here, we'd be on the negative sort of axis value. So actually, this would be my minus 70 here. So it's just like an axis, using an axis system, is 0 there. When we're down here, it's minus 70. And it's just showing we're below the starting point here, okay? Essentially, okay? Because upwards was positive and we've gone past it, and when we underneath it, and we've shown that S is minus 70 when T is 5. So the height of the cliff is essentially just 70 meters. We don't have to go minus there when we say the height. Minus just tells us the displacement, but we've got then total height then of 70